Hello, everybody. Welcome to my Bachelor episode 3 YouTube Live. This is our third week in a row doing it. So we are literally consistent queens this year. Clap it up for me. I cannot wait to talk about this episode with you guys and hear what you guys think and what you have to say about it. So if you're joining me live right now on YouTube, make sure you keep commenting in the live chat. Like literally just comment like whatever you want, and I'll read it since there's only so many of us here. And I mean, I just have to talk to you guys about it because this episode just left me feeling so many types of ways. Like, I can't believe that Christina went home. But also I'm really shook right now because Annie, was it Annie? Well, Elena, thank you for watching all my TikToks and then running to YouTube. I really do appreciate that because TikTok was giving me a hard time about posting tonight. So I was like really trying to get these recaps up. But who said it? Somebody just, oh yeah, was it Elena? I'm so confused. Why am I missing this comment? One of you, Elena or Annie, it was Annie, okay, literally just pointed out Christina's TikTok, Christina's Instagram. So on Christina's Instagram, go to it right now if you haven't seen it, because she might end up having to delete it because it kind of goes against like production. But she said, Yas, I loved my rose dress from date number 1. So much fun. Thrilled to see it featured in the middle of a group date again in tonight's episode. So I don't remember exactly what she was talking about because, okay, so what was the point of putting this extra scene? Maybe you guys can help me figure this out because, I watched the episode, but I don't pay attention to every minute. None of us do anymore, right? Like, I'm half on Twitter, I'm half on my phone. Like what was the point? Like, she was making out with a guy. She was making out with Zach, right? On the group date. But what did she say to him? I need to like remember what she said to him that was so important for her to put that TikTok in, because she's like shading production for maybe giving her like some type of edit tonight. That's what I'm assuming that means by that Instagram, because they put a different scene in. But like, what was the relevance? If you're watching and you're probably so frustrated, so just comment down below. But we'll move on because I can't keep harping on that. But Christina tonight just got such an interesting edit, because last week we were just like, Christina Mandrell, she's an icon, she's a moment, and she still is. But I mean, we saw some of her flaws this week, which we didn't expect that. Last week, she got a one-on-one date. She shared with Zach that she was a single mom and she got the rose. She met his family. So I didn't even think about this until I saw everyone's Twitter, everyone tweeting, being like, well, this was Zach's opportunity to send Christina home because he didn't want to be a stepdad, because it did seem like last week he had a really hard time accepting that, like, he wasn't ready to be a stepdad. That's how it kind of felt like. He wasn't ready to take on that role, right? So now everyone on Twitter is saying that maybe that's why he sent Christina home, the first ounce of drama, because I just don't understand why he was so quick to send her home. Because okay, whatever, like, she got ahead of herself, she got cocky, we saw that on the group date. I think it was really obnoxious what she said after Charity got the rose, that like, that could have been me. That should have been me. Like, Christina, it shouldn't have been you. Like, you already had a one-on-one date. You already had validation and time. Like, Charity deserved that rose, and you just like ruined her happy moment. So I was like frustrated with Christina. I'm like, that was really obnoxious. But I feel like whatever. Like, she got ahead of herself. She got cocky. Let her apologize. Let her take a day or two to humble herself. And then I feel like she would have been fine. So I don't know why he sent her home so quickly. Annie says, she was saying it's so validating to get the rose, talking about her actually getting the first rose. Oh, but they played it during the group date to make it seem like she was talking about getting the group date rose, which obviously she didn't. This makes so much more sense. This is why we have a live chat. Annie, shout out Annie. Everybody, Annie, leave your TikTok or Instagram in the comments, so this way everybody can follow you. And I'm going to follow you just for that, because thank you. This makes a lot more sense. So I felt like, sure, she was a little bit of drama, but he could have, They could have worked it out. She could have apologized. So I just don't I was just shocked when she got sent home, especially because the editing of the show has been the same for 20 years. But what was so interesting about tonight's episode is that no one would expect Christina to go home. Like we all expected her to get the last rose because that's what we've seen in the past where all of the villains or the villains for that episode get the last rose and everyone's just like, "Oh my god, wow." And like we're not actually shocked because we've seen the show a million times. But tonight it was so interesting because I would have never expected Brianna to go home. I would have never expected Christina to go home so soon. I was even shocked to see Bailey go home so soon. And I just posted about this on my TikTok how those were three women who saw Zach at After the Final Rose when he was breaking up with Rachel and they were having that conversation. They met Zach, like, what was it? I don't remember the timeline, but what was it, a month before they were filming? So I wonder if that plays a part into it because maybe Zach was like thinking about these women for a while, being like, I'm not really thinking about them. I met them. I'm not, like he maybe he already knew and maybe the girls already knew that there wasn't that spark there because what was the time in between. So maybe that has something to play into it because I really appreciated how Brianna was such a straight shooter. And I feel like Brianna is a star. Like last week, we were all so frustrated with Brianna. She was blowing everything out of proportion. But I feel like this week, like Brianna just got validated, especially since Christina like showed a different side to her that wasn't so likable. Because last week it was like Christina's a queen. Christina is and I still love her. Trust me. But I'm just like last week it was like Christina was like one of the most like thank God she was on this season, right? And then we were all like, Brianna, like, come on, like, I can't with you. But this week, I felt like Brianna, she was straight up. She was like, Zach, what's the problem? And there was definitely something off because we didn't see her the entire episode and we saw her so much last week. So I'm kind of glad that they just like talked about it head on. I feel like it was a mutual breakup, right? Brianna and Zach. I mean, I guess Brianna like initiated it a little bit, but it was definitely mutual. And Brianna drops a bomb before she leaves about how Christina's not getting along with all the other girls in the house. And it was great that Brianna did that, right? Because one, it's not going to be awkward for her since she doesn't go back into the house and have to confront Christina. Like if Brooke did that, Brooklyn, what's her name? I need to know her name. What is it Brooke or Brooklyn? Somebody tell me in the live chat because otherwise it will take me forever to find it on my phone. But she was like calling out Christina a lot too. But Brianna was like, she wanted to leave with a bang, and she did. Brianna for Paradise. Brianna, we wanted to see more of you this season, but unfortunately, it just wasn't there for you and Zach, and I respect that she left. Now Bailey on the same thing. I respect that she left and that she, tried to make an effort. She went out of her way. And I felt like we were seeing Bailey be so dramatic and so emotional. She definitely took a different route than Brianna, who is a little bit more like upfront. But it's like the same thing where they're like, I need to know now or I'm leaving. So, or I guess Zach sent Bailey home, but she still went out of her way to ask what his connection was with her, which is what, Bailey she doesn't want to waste her time because some of the other girls, especially the ones we don't know their names, right? Because I still don't know everyone's name. I'm a Bachelor nerd, but not this season. This season, I'm avoiding spoilers. I'm barely paying attention. I'm starting to pay attention more, right? We're on episode 3. I'm clearly more into it than I was last week. But I don't know anyone's name other than like 4 or 5 girls. It's kind of fun and fresh, right? So I'm upset that Christina went home, and I'm upset Brianna went home, and I'm upset Bailey went home because those were 3 girls who I actually knew their names and was somewhat invested. Like the best girls just went home. Like I think Charity's cool. Gabby is interesting too. Like clearly, like she's getting like some type of storyline. My whole thing with Gabby is that one, the edit they're giving her is so random because they do this like she has this like quirky side that we kind of saw, but then the other edit they're giving her is like this weird narrator edit. And it's just like, why is she getting so much screen time for like 6 minutes at a time and then like disappears for 45 minutes? I mean, it is a long show, but still, it was just like they're giving her the weirdest edit. I feel like we don't know anything about her. But there's also people saying online that she read Game of Roses, How to Win the Bachelor book. I need to like know more about that. Like, was she caught reading the book? Like, I think that she's like clearly a super fan of the show, right? Like, it's one thing to be a fan, but she seems like a super fan if she read that book. And with all of her friends having the Gabby T-shirt, I don't know if you guys saw that on that. I'm like, they are really hardcore fans. So I don't think she's gonna win anymore, because of all those reasons. But I also did see. Well, never mind. I was gonna say there was some new spoilers posted today. I don't read them because I don't want to know, but I did see a couple things pop up on my timeline, and I was just like, no, I can't read this. But we'll see what happens. Right, this is gonna be a no spoiler live show. But I feel like most of you guys probably know how, like, I slip up sometimes and say some like teases and stuff. But this season, I truly don't know like literally anything. I was shocked. I've been shocked a lot actually. Um, Delu says, I'm glad Zach isn't messing around with the drama. Christina kept throwing her day with Zach into the other girls' faces. Glad she went home. Brianna went to create chaos before she left. Brianna will slay on Paradise. I just think she got too into it and too excited and came off cocky. Yeah, that's what I was saying about Christina. But she could have been humbled. Like, everybody gets caught up sometimes. Like, we all get caught up sometimes. It just happened to be on camera for Christina. So I still really like her. And I think she's really funny on social media. Maybe that's why I like her, because she's just like really good on social media. She just seems so real and she seems like so fun and she's so trendy. Let's talk a little bit about Katie, right? She got the first one-on-one date. They went to the dinosaur museum, immediately thought of Ben Stiller's movie, whatever the movie is, The Museum. That's like a really cool date. I don't know if I would have loved the date because I'm not really like, I mean, I think it would have been awesome, but I think somebody else would have loved it more because that date seems like really cool for like the science nerds. And it's a cool experience. They've never done that before either. At first, I was like, what's going on? Like, why is she crying? But I actually feel like she really opened up tonight. My co-host Kayla from my panel, I just said was like, she really opened up. Like, she was in a relationship for 7 years. It was toxic. Like, she just wants to find a good guy. And I can kind of like understand that. Like, she put so much of her time and energy into her past relationship. 7 years is such a long time. Like, can you imagine people who are divorced like after 20 years or 10 years and like you invest so much time? Like, that sucks, right? It's probably so hard to get over a breakup when it's that many years. Like, I feel bad for her. So I understand why she was so emotional. And at first I thought her and Zach were so awkward and I didn't see it. But then by the end of the date, I was like, wow, like they actually do have a connection. I think that, they seem like they might fit together. Annie says, Zachary, I want to know who your favorite is. I don't have a favorite. Christina was my favorite and she left. And I also liked Brianna, even though I was annoyed with her last week for coming for Christina. Those are my two favorites. Like, I like Charity, but I don't like love Charity. I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I like someone who is just like really, I mean, Brooklyn or Brooke. Did anyone ever tell me her name in the comments? I think I like Brooke. Imagine, oh my God. I'm like, somebody tell me her name. I like the girl that was calling out Christina. I thought that she did it in a really respectful way. And like, it wasn't thirsty. It wasn't annoying. Like, she was just like, stop. Like, stop. Like, you're making everything about yourself. I like her. That's who I like. But I don't know anyone because everyone that I liked, that I knew was just, that I got invested in, just left. So what happened with Katie, she ended up getting the overnight date. And at first, I thought that they were going to like have off camera time and maybe like, who knows what could have happened? Maybe like another Caitlyn, Bristowe, and Nick situation. But then when the show showed the camera that was in the little tent, I was like, oh, damn. Because like, what if they like would have banged? Like, that could be a fantasy suite. Like, they could have totally like got it on. I wish that they did so that the show would have been more dramatic and scandalous. Like, I wish that they like, I don't know if I can curse on here, but you know what I'm saying. I wish that they were able to get it in. But I doubt that they did. They probably cuddled. And now an overnight date, like, I think that is like the first time ever. And I think that that gives her a huge advantage because now she has so much time with Zach, like so early on. So I think that Katie is going to go far. I think Charity is going to go far. And I think someone said her name is Brooklyn. And I think Katie, Charity, Gabby are like probably top 3, right? But who knows? Because clearly the editing has been so weird. I did not expect any of those girls to go home. Like, I can't believe they let Christina go home so early. And I say they because it's like, I feel like we've heard this so many times that the producers really make a lot of the decisions in the beginning, like especially like the first half of the episodes. I mean, everyone says that on the podcast. Like, producers literally like choose who goes to like the top 4 basically. Like, you really only get like 1 or 2. So I'm just really shocked that the producers let Christina go and Brianna so early. Like, they could have, I'm just shocked. Okay, everyone keeps saying her name's Brooklyn. This should be the title of this video. Is it Brooklyn or is it Brooke? I hope Katie and Zach end up together. They have a connection for sure. I wasn't a Katie fan. I liked Charity tonight. I liked Brooklyn keeping it real. Yeah, I actually have, like, notes from my other panel, so let me make sure I, like, got all my points across before I leave. Because clearly, like, there's some people we're forgetting. Okay, so the group date football, I tweeted about the group date football date. I was just like, this is so dangerous. It's almost as dangerous as Special Forces on Fox. I don't know. Sometimes I'm funny and sometimes I'm not. But everyone always gets hurt on a football date, right? I don't remember who won the date and if that person, if they actually got after time because I was like in and out. Allie also got a one-on-one date. Her and Zach jumped out of a plane. I would never jump out of a plane. Would you guys jump out of a plane? Like, skydiving seems so scary. Also, I have 0 thoughts about Allie, not because I not because she was boring, but because I barely paid attention to her date because I was trying to post a couple TikToks. So, and they were taking forever. So I have 0 thoughts about Allie, but I think that their date was like really short. I don't think that she will win at all. The date charity one. Yeah, I know that. I know you said you weren't going to watch the season. Are you watching? No, I'm watching the season, guys. I'm watching. I literally thought that I wasn't going to watch at the end of at the end of Paradise. Like I literally was like, I think I'm like actually gonna stop watching. And like I was serious. And then a month and a half went by and I was just like, that's stupid. Like a large part of my audience is talking about The Bachelor. Like, even if I don't love it all the time, which the reason I don't love it all the time is because it's become a huge part of my job. So it's just like no one loves their job, right? So that's truly what has sucked a lot of the fun out of it for me as well. But then it was just like, no, like I don't need to complain about my job. Like I'm good at talking about The Bachelor. I make consistent videos, viral videos all the time on TikTok. Like it's a huge part of my audience. I have so much fun connecting with you guys when we talk about the show. So it's just like, how am I not going to watch? I'm just watching differently this season, which is apparent that I don't know anyone's name, which is not like me. I don't know any of the spoilers besides a few that popped up, which is not like me, especially the last few years. And I'm just like not caring as much, you know? And that has made the show more enjoyable. And because like one night a week is great, right? Last with Paradise was 2 nights a week. That was exhausting. Like that was honestly like so hard. Like I could actually start crying. Like 2 nights of Bachelor in Paradise a week and Dancing with the Stars, like those shows were on at the same time. Like it was so hard. Like I was so exhausted. Ugh, it really was like a really like I'm just kidding, obviously, but like those couple months covering those shows, like it was a lot on me. It really was. Like, I really work so hard. Like, I'm sorry, but, like, I make so many videos, and it's just so much to cover, and it truly, like, makes me hate some of these shows sometimes, but that's on me 'cause I just overwork myself and put pressure on myself all the time to get every update and do this and do that. So, that's on me. Um, but anyway, I'm glad that I started venting a little bit because these Bachelor shows are supposed to be mostly about me. We're not supposed to actually talk about the show, right? Well, those were my thoughts. If you guys are here, I'm gonna stay on a few more minutes, but I'm just reminding you to give this video a thumbs up if you are joining. Keep asking me questions about literally anything about the show or anything in Bachelor Nation. I'm gonna talk about a couple more things so I can hear what y'all want to talk about and stuff. Um, but give this video a thumbs up. And if you haven't listened to my interview with Ari Lyondike from Traders and The Bachelor, I uploaded it on my YouTube today, and it's also available as a podcast wherever you get your podcasts. So Spotify, Apple, Stitcher, literally everything. So definitely check that out. It's like a quick 25-minute interview. And next week, I have James Kennedy and Ali Luber on from Vanderpump Rules. I think the premiere of Vanderpump Rules is actually, it's either tomorrow or Wednesday. And Allie is one of my really close friends, and she's dating James, so they're on the show. So it's gonna be really fun to watch it and see it because, like, I was there while they were filming it in the summer. Like, I didn't like, I went to like a couple of the filming things, but like, I just remember talking to her like every day about it. So I'm just like excited to see like what makes the show and how the show presents itself. Like seeing one of my best friends on it, it'll be really fun. So I interviewed them. A couple weeks ago. So I'm going to post it next week because that's like, you know, the season starts and we talk about the show and it's a really fun interview. Are you any of you guys Vanderpump Rules fans here? Like what do you guys watch besides Bachelor? Definitely let me know, even if you're missing this live, like all the shows you guys watch and want me to cover. Just like literally keep commenting and reminding me. Any video you ever want me to make or any show, just comment it. Like I might not do it, but at least I know. Like a lot of people were commenting on my videos, talk about Big Brother for so long, where it became such a thing where I actually now I'm starting to do more Big Brother videos. And I even interviewed Taylor, the winner of Big Brother last season. And we posted together, and I don't know, some people cared on Twitter. I don't know who Ariel is. I'm sorry, Kayla. I don't know who Ariel is. Is she on this season? Like I said, I don't know. I don't know. I'll look her up though. Bachelor, Zach, Ariel. Let's see who Ariel is. Oh, Ariel. I remember seeing her on tonight's episode and being like, "Whoa, who is that?" Never saw her before tonight's episode. I never got that when people were like, "I've never seen this person in my life," until I became more of a casual watcher, which I am this season, because I always knew everyone's name before the season started. Yeah, so no thoughts on Ariel. Stay tuned, stay posted. Yeah, so excited about Love is Blind season 3 after the altar comes February 10th. So I will be all over that. And then Perfect Match premieres February 14th on Netflix as well, which I will be all over that as well. I actually got to hang out with some of the cast this past weekend. So they're promising me it's going to be a really good show, which I know it will be because those Netflix dating shows always hit. So February is just going to be such a busy month for TV because we have a couple new Netflix dating shows. Real Houses of New Jersey premieres tomorrow, which is my absolute favorite franchise ever in Housewives in Bravo. Like, I love Jersey Housewives. I'm so into it. Like, literally, I'll even do an after show if any of you guys, I'll do one and see if anyone watches it. And then maybe I'll do more, but I'll talk about it. I love Teresa. I love Melissa Margaret. Like, the show is Jersey Housewives is so good. So that comes on tomorrow. And Summer House. And I'm excited to see the Potomac reunion. I don't know if anyone is invested in all that drama that just happened with Robin Dixon. Crazy. And then another thing before we go, we can talk about Caitlyn Bristowe going on Chris Harrison's podcast because I actually listened to it. And it's kind of interesting to hear them talk. I think it was great that they waited to talk until they were on the podcast. But Caitlyn totally made it seem like they had this big falling out, and there was like Chris just ghosted her, and she didn't even know why. And that's what Caitlyn's perspective was. So Chris heard that and invited her on his podcast. And basically, the issue ended up being with Chris and Caitlyn is that Chris wasn't trying to ghost her. It was that Caitlyn was, like, talking about the show. Like, she was checking up on him for sure, but she was also texting him about, like, the host position and how she might be a mentor or, just kind of, like, telling him that he's irreplaceable. And Chris was saying that at that time, he wanted nothing to do with The Bachelor. Like, he just didn't wanna think about the show and what's going on. Like, he was just trying to protect his well-being and his mental health. He had the whole world hating on him. He had paparazzi, outside his house. I don't know if you guys listened to his first podcast, but he was just, like, not in the mood to, like, Caitlyn was just, like, having so much anxiety and drama. She was just, and she admitted to that. She admitted to being dramatic. Caitlyn was just saying that basically, like, she was just, like, all in her head, like, wondering, if Chris doesn't like her because, she's taking his role, and that wasn't the case at all. Chris just, like, couldn't handle that because what he was going through. And Caitlyn admitted to that. Like, she was just like, I really love you. And that's why I was so worried. And she was just in a weird position. So Caitlyn was genuine. She did have genuine intentions and she does love Chris. But they just, like, had a friendship break because of what happened with the dynamics that were shifting in the Bachelor franchise. And then Chris gave his opinion on what he thought about Caitlyn and Tayshia hosting. I don't think he watched it, but he said that he was only upset that they didn't tell him. I think he said he was, like, a little annoyed that they didn't call him. That's what he said. He would have rather have them tell him before finding out, but he already found out before the world announced because somebody on production told him that they were going to be hosting it. And he was only upset about it because he thought that two of them shouldn't host it. Like, they were set up to fail by having two hosts because The Bachelor is meant to only have one host. And then Caitlyn was kind of talking about how her and Tayshia were so silly and they didn't take the process seriously. But I thought Caitlyn and Tayshia did an amazing job as hosts. I thought their friendship was so, like, fun and iconic, and, like, we loved their dynamic. I loved them as hosts, and I thought it was great that they hosted Katie and Michelle's season because, like, girl power. So I don't necessarily know if they were set up to fail, but that's what Chris Harrison said, and that's what Caitlyn Bristowe believes too. Me, I don't think so. I think they looked great. I think Tayshia maybe was like set up to fail towards the end because so much speculation ended up coming in on her because the fallout of her relationship with Zach happened around Michelle's reunion. So that's where I feel like the producers kind of were like, Tayshia, you got to talk about this. You got to talk about this, which she kind of did, right? Because like it's The Bachelor, and that's what everyone was wondering. It's kind of like how Andy Cohen just had Robin Dixon on Watch What Happens Live immediately after he found out about her Patreon cheating wand scandal. It's like, if you're part of the show, you have a contract, you got to talk about it on the show. But I wish that Caitlyn and Tayshia hosted more. Imagine Caitlyn and Tayshia hosted with Gabby and Rachel. It would have been like all four girls. Like, what a power core group. I guess those are all my thoughts about the episode. I didn't watch the trailer for next week because I just started making TikToks. So, and I honestly, I don't even watch the trailers. I'm not, like, for real. Like, no, at least not for this season because I'm not invested yet. I mean, I guess I'm invested, right? I just talked about it for 20 minutes, but still, half in, half out. I guess that's all we have to share with you guys today. I have a couple more interviews that I'm doing this week, so I will probably just start teasing them after they're done. So then you know who's going to be on my podcast because new interviews drop every single Monday. So we've done 4 Mondays in a row, and now we're doing 3 Mondays in a row for this live stream. So I guess you can say I'm on top of my consistency. And I'm also going to The Masked Singer on Wednesday. So I don't know if anyone's into that, but I'm really excited to check it out. I'm going to be filming lots of content and lots of behind the scenes content of the show. So if you're into that, definitely get excited because I will post about that on Wednesday. And I guess that's all she wrote. So thank you guys so much for watching this live stream. It's been so much fun talking about the show. I'll make more TikToks, so make sure you're following me on Instagram and TikTok, and follow me on Twitter, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. Like, if there's one thing I want you guys to do, and I'm genuinely asking, it's to subscribe to my YouTube channel because I really love YouTube. And this was so fun. Okay, I think that's all she wrote, finally. Okay, I'm leaving. Thank you guys for watching. Bye. Have a nice night.